I'm John Beaudin from Rock History Music. Here's another clip with Simon Phillips. What was your favorite time in Toto? What was a favorite moment in Toto or album or whatever? And what do you have coming up?
Favorite time in Toto? Wow. I think the time where I really felt a very valued part of Toto was when they asked me to record their album in 2005, Falling in Between. They wanted me to engineer the album. We did it in my studio, and we all co-wrote the music. Now, that was incredibly stressful because I was playing on it as well. So whilst the band were working stuff out, I was getting sound and then walking in and then listening and then, making some notes and then maybe playing a little bit and then going out, changing the sound of something. Dave said, I want to play organ, right? Mic up the organ, So I was going in and out between the control room. I barely had a chance to learn the song. Isn't that amazing? I remember bits that I'd been part of in the song when I was there, but then, so suddenly it was like, right, let's roll on. I had an assistant who was rolling, starting and stopping Pro Tools and recording, and I would go in and I'd maybe change a snare drum over, do a bit of tuning, and I said, right, let's do a track. And you ready? We got a click going, and then I'd count it in, and we'd play a take, and I'd say, right. And it was great. They let me basically run those sessions from a production point of view when it was tracking. We were all involved in the writing. They were all involved in afterwards. But when we were actually laying, it was like, okay, Si, you guide us on this. So we'd put a rough one down. I say, right, let's go listen straight away. Let's not play anymore. Let's look at the arrangement. And we'd listen, and then I'd do a whole bunch of editing, whether that be an idea I had or an idea that David or Luke, and I'd say, guys, listen to this. And I'd do like a chop, literal chop here, this, and they go, oh, yeah, it's cool. But I missed that bit. Can we get that bit? And I did this kind of what I call a Franken-track. And then we had all the composition there. It was the arrangement, And so once we did that, it was like, now we have to relearn the song. So literally we're writing parts down of our own song. This is how I remember it anyway. Probably not on every song, and then we'd go out and we do a few takes, and I go, one more. And Luke would go, no, I think that's it. I said, let's do one more, Luke. Okay. And it was great. That was an amazing time that a band that's had so much success have worked with the greatest engineers on the planet, and yet they entrusted that chair to me, for that time. And it was tough because, you got 4 producers in the room.
Well, you might not like multitasking, but you can do it. Yeah,
stressful. I mean, I do it with my own stuff anyway, and with most productions that I do. But when you've got, the room with, 2 extremely strong characters and only see things maybe their way until you manage to convince them there's another way, it was tough. But it was successful. It worked great.
Love that record.
And look, David kept saying to me, he said, I want you to mix this record. He says, you have that English sound that you get, and I love that, and I want you to mix it. And I went, not a hope in hell, David. I am not going to mix this record. First of all, I'm too involved as the artist, as a player, composer, and I engineered it. No, get someone else to do it. And because I knew what a can of worms it would be opening, and I'd end up in hospital, what a straight jacket. Yeah. So we entrusted that to Steve McMillan, who I absolutely admire. I mean, I was at most of the mix sessions just because, I wanted to be, and he liked it. I didn't go to everyone. I let him do, because as an engineer, when you mix, you don't want somebody breathing over your shoulder all the time. But once you got into it, then it's easier to have someone there, I remember Luke, when I mixed the first thing for Toto, we were doing Live in Amsterdam, the video, and I was mixing the surround. And first day of mixing, he comes around, sits in a chair behind, right, and of course, I've basically set up the matrix for it, but we're listening to bass drum for like, 20 minutes, and then snare drum. He said, aren't you done yet? I said, no, look, this is going to take a long time. Remember, the drums will take the longest because they're the most channels. And he said, right, I'll see you in a few days. And he split. That was so funny. I mean, he should know, I think maybe, it was the first time I'd mixed something for him, although he'd heard my mixes with other projects which he was involved in. So I think that was probably the highlight of being accepted and as an engineer and a producer. That was pretty cool.
What's coming up, but also Simon, still got a lot of years ahead of you. What would you like to do?
Protocol is a really big project for me. It's very important. The fact that it nearly got a Grammy last year or 2 years ago was a really. I mean, when I woke up that day, things were pretty bad at that time. Personally, I was going, after the fire, personal stuff, and I woke up one morning and I read a text. Congratulations, something. I went, huh? I could barely see. I'm going, like this, and congratulations on your Grammy nomination. I went, what? What Grammy? I mean, I had entered the album for a Grammy, so I knew it was there. I also, as I was mixing it, said to myself, I want a Grammy for this record, because I knew it just had a vibe to it. It really did, and I really felt it was a good record, But I did that. When I say that, it was tongue in cheek. I do that a lot, actually. And then when I got nominated, I was like, "You've got to be kidding!" I mean, I actually cried. I was like, "Really?" It was really funny.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you're not the first, because that's huge.
It is, and of course, went to the Grammys, bought a suit and everything, and most expensive suit I think I've ever bought, and I've only worn it once. Typical. And I lost out, to Steve Gadd, which, of course, fantastic. We have the same manager, which is great, and of course I love Steve, So to me that was great impetus, and I went, okay, yes, this is a project that people love. I just want to take it to the next level. I want to be able to go out on tour and make money, not just almost break even, because that's what it's been like. I'm hoping I'm going to come up with some good new material. So that is number one on my agenda. And also, but the other thing is, of course, right now we're facing this huge, big change in the world, and many musicians are really struggling. And we're all out of work. All my stuff was cancelled. This was going to be a really good traveling year, working with my own band, but working with some other artists, which I haven't done for a while. We're all in that position, and we're all, coming to terms with it and trying to figure out how to do it. Right now, frankly, I just want to build my house, getting into living in my house, and surviving this particular era. And it's going to change. This will change forever.
No, now the headlines are saying 2022.
Yep. Well, my next booking for Protocol is in 2022.
Okay.
And it's the cruise tour. It's the Cruise to the Edge tour.
Okay. Yeah.
Which they postponed until then. This is going to change human behavior. The art of going up and shaking somebody's hand or hugging them may be a thing of the past, regardless of where the virus is under control, whether the virus is under control or not, because we're already getting this thing. You go to somebody, hey, and you kind of stop.
Yeah.
We're going to be very Japanese about it. We're going to stop 3 feet from each other and start bowing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very Western thing to hug and the age-old greeting of shaking the hand. It's going to be kind of, a little bit in like the 17th century. 18th century, when you carried handkerchiefs around because of, germs and stuff in those days. It's going to change the way the human race interacts.
Well, think about, I now realize, I was telling my wife, I didn't realize some of those colds that I had weren't brought in by my son or daughter. They could have been brought in by the postman. That never entered my mind by touching that envelope. Never, ever in my life. Yeah. But of course.
I know. Well, this is why we catch colds so often on tour, because we're traveling in an airplane for hours and hours, and you have no idea where the person next to you was before.
Look at the meet and greets.
Oh, yes. And in fact, I know. And that's, it's going to change. It's really going to change the way we perform and the way we promote a live concert. I don't know how it's going to happen, frankly. I really don't know how they're going to figure that out, But at some point, we have to, I hope.
Yeah.
Wow. Like I said, it's a very different world.
Make sure you comment on our video, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos. I'm John Beaudin from Rock History Music.